Hi, this is John Montgomery with the JR Group. Today we're sitting down with David Brown of State Farm Insurance. So if you've got questions, we're going to have answers. We're going to talk about insurance rates, homeowners insurance, auto, life, umbrella policies. You don't want to miss this one. All right, David, welcome.
Hey,
How have you been?
I'm doing well.
Awesome.
Appreciate you having me.
Absolutely. Well, thanks for carving some time out to join us. You and I, we've known each other for quite some time.
Absolutely.
Kids kind of grew up together in different sports circles.
Softball.
Absolutely. So, yeah, now they're out of the house, and we're enjoying the second chapter.
I got one still in the house.
Well, you do, yeah.
It's in college, but
Yeah.
semi-empty nester.
Well, and Autumn's got one semester left out there in Arizona, so
You don't
Well-
see her much, do you?
no, not enough. But we'll both.
You need to You need to go out there and play some golf and
well.
run the bad water.
Yeah. I actually crewed a friend of mine for the Badwater a couple years ago that he did it.
Wow.
So yeah, absolutely. Well, I'll be getting out there in May, Lord willing, because that's when she graduates. I think on the 9th. So we'll be
Fantastic.
heading that way. So. Yeah, so wanted to allow you to kind of talk about your business, which for those of you who don't know, David Brown is a local State Farm agent here in Clarksville,
right.
Tennessee, and so very knowledgeable. And
I
I
don't know
feel
about
like,
that.
well, I much more so than me, and I think a lot of people would love to hear what you have to say about perhaps an industry that has some, mystery surrounding it. Just like in real estate, a lot of people, they don't know all the ins and outs, and so yet everyone, lives in a house of some type, right? And most everyone has insurance of some type. So felt like it was important to talk with you about it. So tell us a little bit about yourself before we kind of get into the insurance talk.
You want to know from kindergarten on, or what do you want to know?
First grade.
First grade. Basically, I'll just tell you where I grew up. I grew up in Memphis, Tennessee. Met my wife in 95, 94, actually. Married in 95, and then we had kids shortly thereafter. But we moved to Clarksville. I became a State Farm agent in the year 2000.
Wow.
So this is almost 24 years. Coming up on 24 this year.
Yeah.
We love Clarksville. What a fantastic community. It's getting crowded out there, but those are growing pains that I'm okay with as a business owner. I'm okay with.
Absolutely. Well, it says something about the community when we have so many people wanting to move here, and I know you're very involved in the community. I've seen that from afar for years, and we'll get more into that. Yeah, congratulations on the long marriage.
Yeah.
I know Crystal and I we met about the same time you and Jennifer
Yeah.
did, and so. I think we just surpassed 26.
That's
so
awesome.
We got some catching up
Congratulations.
to do for you guys.
I do. Let me mention, I've got 3 children I'm very proud of, and 2 of them are married. I'm very proud of them and who they married. And I have a grandbaby this year, 7 months old. So
Absolutely.
a grandson who I try to see him every day.
Well, congratulations.
you.
I'm not there yet, but looking forward to it.
Oh, yeah. It's the greatest.
Absolutely. Well, so how did you get into insurance?
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about
Yeah.
that.
I sold knee and hip implants
Okay.
to hospitals, to orthopedic surgeons, and about the year that during the year that I was doing that, I met Jennifer and my wife, and her father was in essence an agency manager for State Farm,
Okay.
and I was introduced to a lot of those folks. I was surrounded, I was in that world, just got to meet a lot of them. And man, I really like their model. I really like the people and their culture. that gleaned through them. You know, it just seemed like they were happy,
Sure.
and they seemed to be really down to earth people, and they all seem to be, you know, good people. They seem to be making a good living too. So I really attracted me.
Right. And so you mentioned their model. So I know right now you've got your own office out on Madison Street here in Clarksville. Can you tell me a little bit about that model and how you kind of, whether it's worked your way up the ranks or how does that work? in insurance?
Generically speaking, insurance is, you know, you do, I mean, you do make money. We are in this to make money,
Sure.
right? But I was in sales before. Well, every month you started over from zero, right? But in the insurance world, and some other worlds, there's you do have residual income.
Sure.
So you're not necessarily starting over from zero, and I think that's a good model for a family. You know,
Right.
it's
Well, and it allows you to, I would imagine, you're staying in contact with your client
Oh, yeah.
base and just strengthening those relationships over the years.
we in our office, we try to do a really good job. We miss people, but we try to do a really good job of meeting with people, reviewing their policies. People do not want to. We're like the dentist. Nobody wants to come in and meet with their insurance agent. You know, they just don't. Or you know, and I have a super team that they're equipped to do the same,
Mhm.
but we're a necessary evil. Nobody wants to pay insurance. In fact, the first thing I think people look at in this inflationary environment, for instance, people are looking to cut back,
Sure.
and they're looking to cut back. Probably the top 2 or 3 things would be insurance. They look at their insurance.
Yeah, I know a lot of people are concerned with spending money right now, but tell me from your perspective, you know, why is having proper coverage, and we'll get into the different types and why you would even have insurance, but why is having the proper coverage so important?
Well, we just had a tornado here in
Yes,
Clarksville.
we did.
You know, and it devastated. I have no idea how many homes, but there are homes that I know from, you know, just some people in the community that they said their insurance company didn't cover all of it. Well, what's your most important asset is your house,
Right.
you know, other than your income, and so, you know, you need to make sure that that's totally covered. You know,
Okay, well, I want to dig into this
Okay,
because
all right.
Misty and I were talking about this earlier today, and that perhaps is why there is some mystery or cloudiness associated with the insurance industry, along with others, right? But when you mentioned ensuring you know what the policy covers, w- how does an average person, an average client, go about that, and how do they know, for instance, what are the right questions to ask, and how do they know, hey, I feel confident that whether it be home, auto, life, I have the proper coverage?
Well, first of all, I think having a local agent will help you with some of that, okay? Because they should be your advocate. You know, yes, they work with a company or partner with a company, but they should be your advocate. However, you do need to, as the consumer, bear some of that burden.
Sure.
You need to do some research. You know, I've got clients who ask a lot of really, really, really good questions. They dig deep. We all need to do that.
Right.
You know, if you have a financial advisor, for instance, you don't just take, you know, if the market starts going down, you're going to call him up and ask questions. But in the insurance world, you know, you need to ask these questions before you have a tornado. But you just need to do a full review once a year or once every other year. That's my opinion. It's not State Farm's opinion or anything like that, but it's my opinion
Right.
that you should do that. But insurance companies or agents are gonna miss you. You're gonna have to do it yourself, and reach out and say, hey, what are my coverages here? What's covered? What's not covered?
Right. Kind
You
of
know?
like your doctor. I mean, no one cares about your health as much as you do or should, right? So, um,
Does that make sense?
absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And really, I think digging into that local agent piece, you know, whether now are these people are your clients typically coming into your office, or are they setting up phone calls? How does it how is the interaction
Good
usually
question.
taking place?
Really good question. Before COVID, we in essence didn't require them, but we said we do them in person,
Sure.
face to face. And now with COVID, everybody wants to do it over the phone or virtually, and we're great with that. We've kind of adjusted to that, and people are now asking, "Can I do it over the phone?"
Right.
Never heard that stuff before, and that's tough doing a review over the phone.
Right.
It's tough to do a thorough review over the phone, I think.
Well, I know in real estate, oftentimes we are showing properties virtually, whether it be military who are stationed overseas or just out of state, what have you, or corporate relocations. And there's something comforting about having someone just like we're sitting here at the table, just someone in front of you, to get after some of those nuances and really make sure you've got eye to eye contact, the
Sure.
north south.
Hey, we had a huge windstorm here in March. Y'all remember that? And we had 50 to 60 mile per hour winds sustained from like 12 o'clock in the afternoon to 6.
Right.
I had shingles blown off. I had several people that an adjuster goes out, takes a look at it, and writes his report. Well, your agent, if you don't like that report, your agent can go ask that adjuster the proper questions, to help you a little bit. Maybe the adjuster missed something, that he didn't realize. And I did that before I was an agent. I had to spend 3 years as an adjuster or underwriter or whatever, but I was a homeowner adjuster for 3 years before I was an agent. So at that time, we had to do that for a couple of years before throwing your hat in the ring to become an agent, which is helpful for my clients.
Yeah. And I mean, like everything in life, it's about relationships. And if that local agent, in your case, the insurance business, you really become the advocate for the client, and you know what questions to ask, and you can build upon that long-standing relationship. When there might be a gray area.
That's right.
And so I think having that relationship, and it puts a name and a face to, we all see the ads, it's, we've got the Super Bowl coming up, right? And we're inundated with,
Go Chiefs.
yeah. So, hey, they might do it again. So, as a Bengals fan, I kind of have to root against the 49ers. So, but yeah, I think you add a face to, what we see on TV is maybe this nameless company, obviously,
Sure.
They've got their
big corporation,
Right. Yeah. Absolutely. Right. And so people might think, well, it's this massive corporation.
They don't care about me.
All right. They don't care about me. It's all about, the wait till, it's hidden in the fine print on page 19 of the, 5-font contract.
Sure.
And, and I think you getting after that local agent part of it.
You're going to miss people though. And it's difficult because you just cannot, there's things that I can't control.
Right.
I think a lot of companies, there's certain things that aren't covered, like rot.
Sure.
Well, a lot of consumers, a lot of your clients don't understand how that works. Things that are slow, that happen to your home, for instance, that are over a period of time, they're not covered. Tornadoes are covered.
Sure. Right.
Right. But slow leak is just not a covered item. I don't know about anybody, but a lot of companies won't cover it.
Well, speaking of coverage, in the real estate space, life change, significant life change oftentimes drives a decision to buy or sell a property,
Sure,
right? So,
sure.
what are some of the major life changes that people might experience that you might say, hey, you know what? If you're getting ready to go through this life change, you
Mm,
may want to look at this type of coverage, or you see what I'm saying? Whether it
mm.
be young drivers, whether it be
Yeah,
moving, et cetera. Are there any things you see commonly that you might um,
I don't know.
key people into?
I think a lot. I think as people get older,
Okay,
okay, when you first start out, you just want insurance to get on the road, right?
right,
To drive. Well, at some point, you you do that research that I was talking about for yourself and taking care of yourself. Hey, do I put money into an IRA? Not I'm not saying with me but like when you start thinking about your retirement
sure,
with your financial advisor, well, you should be thinking about, hey, what do my limits of liability need to be now that I'm making a certain amount of income? What I'm going to buy a house, I got to have insurance. If I have a lien holder,
that's right,
I mean, I've had people pay cash for houses and then forget to insure it for 2 or 3 weeks.
right, right, yeah,
And so I think those life events, when you get married, you start taking those things a lot more serious. Just age, the tornado. I don't know if that's a life changing event, but that's an event that makes you start
reevaluate,
reevaluating
yeah,
your portfolio.
absolutely.
Your insurance.
Well, so when we talk about coverage, um, what are some areas that you see people typically, you know, lacking in
hmm
coverage?
Well, here's talking about auto insurance or
Right, whether it
homeowners.
be home, whether it be life, auto. Um,
Well, let's start with life insurance. Okay, life insurance, people are underinsured every day. Okay,
absolutely.
most people are. Most people are underinsured on their auto insurance. There's a term out there in the world that people use. We all, consumers use. It's called full coverage. There is no such thing as full coverage. Okay, you if you have an accident and you get sued for $20 million, I don't know. Did you have $20 million on your? So you just do the best you can
Sure.
financially and try to have those things. But life insurance in particular, a lot of people say, "Well, I have my life insurance through my work." Well, that's great, but what if you retire? And it is good. I want you to have as much as you can. It's usually really, really cheap through your employer.
Hmm.
Um, but life insurance, that's not enough. It's not going to be enough. It's typically what, two, I don't even know anymore, 1 to 2 times your income, maybe three. That's 3 years of salary. Can your spouse or your loved ones get by on 3 years of salary? Because that, in essence, it's a math problem.
Right, and speaking of the math problems, that goes into people not knowing the right questions to ask necessarily, and being able to meet with someone like you who is an expert and be able to kind of um, make sense of a policy or ask those right questions or do the math that says, hey, well, have you thought about this?
Mm-hmm.
Because again, especially when people are looking to cut expenses, right? They might, bet on themselves as opposed to really trying to provide that extra coverage that might make more sense.
Mm-hmm.
So, totally understand that.
Yeah, just we try to touch as many people as we can. It's difficult. People do not want to spend more money. We're like the dentist. Nobody wants to come in for a little pain, but
Right.
it is. If you love your family, you need to insure your salary, your income properly.
Okay, well, you also mentioned, I wanted to dig into this because I know people ask this question all the time. In the simplest of terms, what are the primary differences between whole life and term life?
Well, there's several different types of term insurance. Okay, I don't want to give you a long diatribe on this, but you got different terms, 10, 20, 30, 10, 15, 20, 30
Okay.
years. Those
Sure.
are 10-year term, 20-year term, 30-year term. Well, that just means that there's no cash value attached to it. It is cheaper policy. Premiums are the same for those terms.
Got it.
Okay, that's what that means, and it is cheaper. The problem is if you're 30 years old, you bought a 20-year-old policy. Now, when it expires or it's unaffordable after that 20 years, they got to go buy more life insurance, possibly. Okay, well, what if they're uninsurable?
Right.
Okay. Hey, I have term. I mean, I'm not. That's not only, but I certainly buy term.
Right.
And whole life, and there's several different types of whole life. They're more expensive. Okay. But it is the same premium for the rest of your life. Okay. And there is a cash value piece to it that if you needed to have that money or borrow that money, you can do that. Or if you just want to surrender it and pull it out, you'll surrender the policy, but you'll have something, you'll have some return out of it.
Okay. Yeah.
But it's expensive.
Yeah, and I almost feel like it's similar to young healthy people thinking, I don't need health insurance. I'll be good, And when you're 30, a lot of us aren't thinking about, end of life type matters. So that could be another instance where, like you said, people are looking to cut costs, so they just, I don't.
You know any diabetics in their 50s, 60s? I mean, it's tough for them to get life insurance.
Right.
They can get some sometimes, but it's difficult for them to. So when that policy, that term has expired, they might be out of luck.
Well, another type of insurance or form of insurance I wanted to ask you about, and this came about, I full transparency, knew little to nothing about this, but when I went to start investing in real estate, I became aware of this thing called an umbrella policy. And then found out that it's not just for people who have some rental properties. There's other things that an umbrella policy can protect you against. Can you elaborate on that a little bit?
First of all, umbrellas are the most undersold, underbought.
Okay.
There are a lot of people don't know about them. Again, do your research. You're the consumer. Do your research. We talked to a lot of people about it. Umbrella policies are personal umbrella policies. They umbrella over your auto insurance and your homeowner's insurance. Okay. So we talked about full coverage, right?
Right.
There's no such thing.
Right.
So if your liability limits are X, but it only goes up to a certain limit. Well, then if you hit somebody and hurt them, the umbrella is going to come in after those limits are exhausted, and then the umbrella will stack on top of that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So usually it's $1 million minimum, usually, and then so if you got $500,000 worth of auto limits, now with the umbrella you're going to have 1.5, and it's really, really reasonable. If you don't have young drivers, you're talking about 150 a year, 200 a year, something like that.
Right. But speaking of young drivers,
yeah.
So, again, you have 3 children, we have 2, and, a lot of our listeners have teenage drivers, and let's be honest, teenage drivers typically don't have the cleanest driving records.
Nope.
And are perhaps more prone to get into accidents.
They are more prone.
So that umbrella policy could certainly come into play there.
That's right. Yeah, no doubt. You need an umbrella with young drivers. However, the umbrella itself is more expensive. Probably not till I got into the insurance business did I realize what my parents paid.
Right.
I appreciated my parents even more,
Yeah.
Because I have a brother, and we were some rogues.
Right.
So, got, different things, but I won't get into that. But,
Yeah.
insurance is a big deal when you got young drivers.
Well,
You really need to go in and see your agent when you have young
yes.
drivers.
Yes. Well,
You can let that agent too talk to that young driver, maybe.
yeah,
Maybe
that's a
give
good
him-
idea.
Maybe,
Share some war stories.
yeah.
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 Yeah. Some tales of caution. Well, so moving from life to driving, with me in the real estate business, oftentimes we're working with first-time home buyers,
Mhm.
and getting that homeowner's insurance. This will be, something new for them, and there is some confusion about, well, what are these escrow accounts, and who do I pay for homeowner insurance? Can you talk a little bit about just homeowners insurance, what someone should look for, and how that's typically addressed when
An escrow account?
Absolutely.
Particular? Well, you know about escrow accounts, I know, but they put mortgage company can put the taxes and the insurance in the escrow account, right?
Right.
You know this better than I do. I don't know why they do that. Do you?
Well, I think it's to ensure that the
Insurance is
homeowner,
paid?
That's right. That the lender wants to ensure that insurance is always up
There
to
you
date.
go.
Right.
That's what I thought, but I
Yeah.
wasn't positive about
Yeah.
that. We send the bills to the escrow to the lender, and they I think it helps them save too. They don't, again, it not only does it help them not save necessarily, but helps them put that on a monthly account.
Right.
you
Out,
know?
out of sight, out of mind.
Yeah,
so
because
to
if
speak.
your property taxes come up every January, February, and you got to pay $4, $5, $6,000, that's tough. That's a tough pill to swallow for a lot of people.
Right.
You know?
Right. Absolutely. Yeah. So, and again, when you're purchasing a home and you're utilizing a loan, that lender is going to kind of help you help yourself. They're going to make sure that you have homeowners insurance, and they're going to make sure that your taxes are paid appropriately. So for sure.
We get several of those requests every day to send that proof of insurance over to the lender
Right.
to put it in escrow.
Well, yeah. So kind of as an expert in the insurance field, what's some advice you would give to anyone listening today?
Find a really good company. Find a one with a really good brand, and then find a local agent, a local advocate, if you will, and then request to meet with them. And see, you can kind of tell, do they have your best interest at heart? But insurance companies are not perfect. Insurance agents are not perfect. But I would say find a good one. Don't get too excited when your premium goes up, because they're all going to go up at some point. They don't all just come down. People think if you've been with a company 25 years, it's supposed to come down. Well, bread and milk have not come down.
Right. Right.
They'll take some little dips, but overall they'll increase. But if you got a good agent and you got a good company, it pays to be with them. I would say those are just find a good company, find a good agent, find one that'll work for you.
Yeah. So kind of moving away from insurance, I see you out and about, see your name all over the community. So what are you into these days? How I guess my question would be, what areas in the community are you most involved in or most excited about?
Oh, I'm in my 50s now. Did I mention I have a grandchild?
You did.
I'm really into him, to be honest. We like to travel a little bit. My wife would love to travel every month, and we like to travel quite a bit.
Yeah.
Short trips,
Sure.
nothing huge.
Right.
Occasionally one a year that'll be decent, but I don't get out nearly like I used to because I used to coach a lot of sports.
Oh yeah, I used to see you all the
My
time.
kids were playing, and I played baseball in college,
Yeah.
but that's all. That was my thing. I love to coach those kids, and it's fun to see those guys. It's fun to see those players you coached come back and be clients.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Well,
for
and
me.
they're going to be coaches soon, right?
That's
We're going to
right.
see them coaching soon.
That's right. I have 6 team members right now. Have 2 that are probably about to leave me and start their own agencies.
Wow, that's exciting.
And so I'm very excited about that. But what else am I into? I'm watching a lot of college basketball right now.
I bet you are.
Try to stay in shape. I'm not doing a great job of that, but I'm trying.
One day
What
at a
about
time.
you? What are
One
you
day at a
doing?
time.
What are you doing right now?
Hey,
You're running a lot, aren't you?
well, running a lot, and obviously I'm really embracing this. I'm calling it the second chapter. So
Mhm.
it's been about 5 years since retiring from the Army.
Yeah.
And
How many?
absolutely, yeah. It was
Oh,
the
wow.
end of 2018.
That's it. It seems like it's longer than that.
No,
It seems like
no.
you've been in the real estate world for a while now.
Well, it sometimes it feels like it, but most of the time it doesn't.
Mhm.
Robert Roof and I really enjoy working together.
Is he a good guy?
Absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, yeah. If you're listening to this, Robert, yeah, you get David's vote. But
He
yeah,
is-
I
he is a
mean,
good
so
guy.
so we served together. We formed the JR Group. We're with Crylike,
Mhm.
and really right down the street from your office,
Mhm.
and it's just been fun. It's been fun to build a business,
Yeah.
and every day is something different.
What's the business? I'm the asker now, but how is the insurance? I mean, the real estate business right now? What's it look like?
So it's on the uptick. So a couple weeks ago, we were down in Nashville for Crylike's annual Middle Tennessee meeting, and we had the CFO of the National Association of Realtors basically provide his 2024 forecast, and really with interest rates coming down, actually, so early 2022. Spring 2022, we started seeing them rise. We enjoyed 3% interest
I know.
for what 10 plus years, and people forgot that the 50-year average on a 30-year mortgage was 7.75%
Say, I
interest.
was-
Right, so we were in
This is normal.
you're right, yeah, and so earlier, last summer when rates were pushing that 8% rate, we're now right now. We just had a client close, and I think 5.89%.
Good.
So my point is, most of the experts in our industry feel that we're going to have a rebound in 2024, and we're starting to see that. A lot more buyers becoming active, and especially as this weather breaks, usually mid-February, that really launches the Middle Tennessee buying season, if you will. So yeah, things are looking pretty
How
good.
many people are in your team now?
So we have Robert and myself, and then we have 2 ladies, full-time staff that hold everything together.
Yeah.
And then we have 3 realtors.
Yeah. Oh wow. Okay.
On the team. So, we have our own, operations director and marketing director, and then we have our own transaction coordinator, Heather. She handles all the details of a real estate transaction from the time someone goes under contract to the time they close. And so, the nice thing about it too is if Robert and I are doing something like like what I'm doing right now with you, there's agents out there that can help show a house to a client or, help prepare a house for sale.
Right.
So really helps out.
Well, your team's well thought of in town. You talk to different people. I talk to different people, and your name will come up. So that's good, and your team's name comes up.
Absolutely.
More
yeah.
Robert than you, but
Well, yeah, absolutely. No, we try to, Robert's very involved in Clarksville Association of Realtors, and I'm on the board at the chamber. I'm on the board at the Education Foundation, and we support several local nonprofits,
Right.
Montgomery County Veterans Coalition, et cetera. So we try to we try to put our time and money where our mouth is, and try to stay involved and be be good citizens. So.
Well, y'all
Yeah,
doing a great
it's
job.
fun.
You're doing a
Well,
great job.
Hey, I appreciate it, and I really think you helped explain insurance today. I know I learned some things, and hopefully our listeners did as well. And really, just appreciate you making the time to talk with us, and more so appreciate your friendship.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
wishing you the best along with the team.
It was an honor to be here. Thank you for asking me. I
Well,
appreciate
absolutely.
Hope I did okay.
We'll do it again. You did great.
Come
We'll
on,
do it
let's
again
do it.
sometime.
I'm ready.
Thanks, David. Appreciate
Thank you, John. Appreciate it, buddy.
Awesome.